This is Mo Bashir for The Hook. I'm delighted to be joined by promoter Eddie Hearn. Eddie, firstly, we are here on Christmas Day,
Yes.
so I've got to wish you a happy Christmas.
Thank you.
How are things?
Good, yeah. Christmas was yesterday for me.
Yeah.
So did the present duties with the family and ducked out in the early hours, and now obviously in Saudi.
Yeah.
Something very different, but we've been given the honour of promoting this show. Obviously our team have been here for the last 3 or 4 days running the operations, and we're doing a lot of these shows moving forward with His Excellency, and honoured to do it. So yeah, it was a kind of just something that I had to do as part of my job, and you got to make the sacrifices, and right now we're loving what we do. I think boxing's in a brilliant place.
Awesome. And on that, it seems like from Eubank v Ben fight week up until now, your schedule's been crazy, even by your crazy standards. How would you sum up the last month?
I'm knackered, to be honest with you. It's the first time where I've actually felt really tired. I pride myself on kind of having that engine where, you know, people go, "You're crazy, you are," and I get a kick out of it. But yeah, it's I need a break, and I've got a nice, I think 8 or 9 days off after this on holiday.
Nice.
So, going to just trying to be just recouping and re-energising really the mind and the body, because next year is going to be even busier. That's the reality of it. If we want to get to where we want to be, and with all the stuff going on with His Excellency, we got to work harder. And I'm not sure that's possible, but we'll try our best.
How would you then sum up your 2025 as a whole from a business perspective?
I think a game of two halves, maybe.
Okay.
You know, I think we went through a period of kind of losing a lot. You know, you saw that on the Netflix doc, and I think, you know, AJ's win last week and just that whole experience just really shows you about consistency. And I think sometimes you can do all the right things and you can work as hard as you possibly can, but things just don't go your way, and you're like, when are we going to get a break? And the break always comes. It always comes if you do those things. But when you're flying, it also ends at some point. So you've got to be humble enough to know that that's just the game. And while people are laughing at you and going, "Oh, he's lost again, you can't do it," and then all of a sudden when you go on a run, no one even mentions the run. I mean, you're mentioning it, but most people aren't going, "Well, actually, Matchroom are flying at the moment. Like, their stable's better than ever. They're promoting these shows. You know, AJ's like the biggest star in the sport again. Their early 2026 schedule looks great, because they don't really want to give the praise. They just want to jump on you when you're down. So consistency, I think we're in a brilliant place. And the big thing for me right now is our stable. I feel, I mean, globally no one can compete with our stable. But if you look at, you know, even in the pound for pound list now, you've got Bam, you've got Bivol, you've got Shakur, Boots is coming on strong. So many other great fighters as well. AJ's back as like the biggest star of the sport. But it's our younger members of the stable, particularly in the UK, where I think we're brilliant. You know, Conor Benn's flying, Ben Whittaker's flying. I think we're in a great spot.
You mentioned AJ's profile. Obviously, it's gone up massively since he's gone to the US and fought Jake Paul. Is the aim for sort of AJ's trajectory as he looks to sort of end his career in maybe in the next 18 to 24 months? Is it to maybe capitalise on the lack of big boxing in the US? I know you've seen, like, you know, the likes of Top Ranks deal with ESPN. They seem to have crumbled, but you now have the big players, Paramount and Zuffa Boxing. Is the aim to sort of maybe slide AJ in there and sort of grow his profile?
I mean, it wasn't,
in the US?
you know, it wasn't part of the strategy going into last week, but I knew what would happen through last week, and obviously we have to consider it. I mean, he's become a massive star in the US overnight. We're going to go back there early January and you know, get busy over there. But we also have the conversations with Turki Al-Sheikh and plans in place for 2026 that we're talking about. So, yeah, you know, it was massive last week, massive, and I knew it would be, and it was a gift from the gods, really. But yeah, it means that we can go into 2026 with plenty of options. And
just a little bit on Jake Paul. I mean, he gets a lot of flack. Do you think he's done a lot in women's boxing? You know, Amanda Serrano, Katie Taylor. He did quite good on that show. Do you think he has done some good things for boxing, and do you think he's...
I'll give him the respect of last week as well. Like, you know, it takes something to get in the ring with AJ and do, 5.5 rounds? I mean, you know, I know people moan that he ran a lot and held. Well, what do you think he's going to do? I mean, he still let his hands go at times. So I think he needs the credit. He's a very smart guy. Nikisa MVP, very good at what they do. Obviously made a big investment in women's boxing as well. good for the game.
Yeah.
Good for the game. Smart people, good energy, and I enjoy working with them.
You mentioned like the craziness of your schedule. I mean, I'm not saying you lack any confidence, but does the maybe craziness and the fact that you are putting on 2 shows a night, Jake Paul, AJ, you were in Miami, and then Frank Smith was over in Ghana. Does it show that maybe you can put on the quantity of shows while also keeping the quality and not compromising on the quality?
Yeah, I mean that was a run that was kind of a bit unexpected. I mean, that week we had Wednesday night at the Indigo, we had Friday night Netflix with Jake Paul and AJ, Saturday in Ghana. That's really down to the team. I can only do so much, but I can also bring others through so that they can stand alone. So Frank Smith now has become a very competent speaker. He's always known the business inside out. He knows a lot more about boxing now as well. And he can hold his own in a huddle talking about our stable, and he can have meetings with fighters talking about their future. And I needed that because I can't be everywhere. The biggest shows and the people paying the money always want to roll me out. Yeah. And that's my job. And I'm a performing SEAL. I'm available for weddings and bar mitzvahs and anything else. And that's what I'm good at, really.
Is that a case of just working maybe a bit smarter as opposed to harder?
You've always got to work smarter, but you've got to work smarter and you've got to work harder. Yeah. That's the reality. You've got to do more. You've always got to do more. And that's a mentality that I've got. Same with AJ. We were talking yesterday, and that's his kind of thing. I've got to do more. I've got to work harder.
Where does that come from, though? Why do you have to do more? Do you feel? What's driving you to do more?
I don't know. It's a good question. It's just how I was brought up, really.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's a big will to win. I always feel like I was educated through sport.
Okay.
Growing up. Yeah. So academically, I was average. But I played a lot of sport, and I always played to win, and I was always taught that winning is everything. And I think I've just transferred that same mindset I had for sport into business, really. And I see it as a competition. I see it as a game. I also probably think that I'm not I'm street smart, but there are people that are a lot smarter than me. So I have to kind of make up for that by working much harder than them. And I know that the one thing people can't compete with me on is my work rate. They might be smarter and they might have a better education or better A levels and degrees, but they just can't do. It's the one thing that I can do that I know others can't.
Is that the mentality that you take when you hire people to work for Matchroom?
Yeah, I think that you want someone that shows a dedication to the business, but you want someone that wants to make something of themselves. But we give people the opportunity to be whatever they want to be. But a lot of times nowadays, people don't. It's a little bit of confidence, and I think the work ethic of the new generation is not quite the same. But basically, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Like, especially at Matchroom. You got ideas, do it. You want to roll the dice, do it. There's no limitations. There's no one putting you in a box saying, stop being creative, stop working so hard, stop coming up with all these ideas. Now, I might tell you the ideas are shit, but I know. Too many people sit there. It's not really a reflection of our company, but I'm sure that happens.
Oh, I agree,
where people sort of don't want to do. I'm not interested in 9 to 5ers. I'm not interested if you're rocking in at 9 o'clock or at 10 past 9 and you're clock watching to get out of there at 5, right? You've got to have so much passion that you're not even fucking looking at the clock, right? And the worst thing is, you've got to have and be willing to make sacrifices. And that's why when I look here, there's a lot of people that have come here that have families, right? I'm one of them, right? And I had a conversation with my dad about it. And I said to him, now I've got 2 kids. So it's like, I went, Bazza, ain't the best, is it? Like, I'm not going to be around Christmas Day. He went, well, it is what it is, son. I said, all right, okay, thanks, Dad. Like, he's not the most compassionate man in the world. He said, you got to do what you got to do. Sorry. And if they don't realise that one day, then, they should respect you more that you've had to make those sacrifices and those kind of decisions. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people here as well. By the way, there's a lot of people here from our team that don't have kids, but they're still missing Christmas.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And by the way, they'll be looked after. But I don't want it to be a case of, oh, I'll do that show, but how much am I getting? I want it to be I'll do that show, and I know I'll be looked after. But it's not. It can't just always be. You're working for money, but it's got to be a little bit more than that. You know what I mean? It's got to be. I'm all in.
Yeah.
So and the reality is, you're only going to get places in life if you make sacrifices. And unfortunately, sacrifices does mean some people won't be happy, because you just can't keep everybody happy. That's the reality. But it all comes down to how much it means to you and how much you want it. If it means a lot, you'll do it and you'll make the sacrifice. If it doesn't, you'll find a way to get out of it and make an excuse for not doing it.
Just a little bit on that. You mentioned that the younger generation might not have the opportunity, but might not be the go-getters as maybe in previous generations. Do you think it's never been maybe easy to do something on your own nowadays as a young
that's
generation?
A good point. I think that people are not necessarily smarter, but people have different kind of mindsets, and you have the opportunity through the digital media to do things on your own. It's very hard to do, by the way. It ain't easy to start a business, and it's not easy to create something on your own. So I think sometimes there's a kind of rebellious nature about that generation, where it's like, I don't want to work for someone. I don't want to be someone's, I want to be the boss. I don't want to, but that's bollocks, really. The reality is, if you're good enough, you'll get there. And some companies will allow you to do that faster than others.
Yeah.
But there's nothing I want more than someone coming to me and going, or sending me something and saying, "You've got this little idea at the moment. I've been thinking about this. I've been thinking about it." Now listen, even if it's crap and it doesn't work, it's still noted, But I do feel like that new generation is more about, I'm working to live rather than I live to work. Which is fine, because my dad's always told me, you can't have all cowboys. You've got to have some Indians as well, right? Yeah. So it's like, that means you need your army, and you need your army that are going to be like those ones that are out there, and then you've got your cowboys, your chiefs, right, who are going to go out, and they're going to be the ones that put in all that work. But you need your army of people behind you. So everybody's different. And by the way, just because if you don't have massive ambition and you don't want to make sacrifices, it doesn't mean that you're a bad person. No. I mean, you're a better person. Yeah. But it's what's important to you. Yeah. Some people just want a 9 to 5. Yeah. Some people want to get in at 5 o'clock and then turn off their phone and just sit home in front of the TV or spend time with the kids. That's wonderful as well. Yeah.
And then finally, where do you see Matchroom going in 2026?
I think that it's a pivotal time for the business. I mean, we did a small minority investment deal, of which we're getting approaches all the time for continued equity, for complete buyouts, for potential floats, and these are all things that we never expected. Beyond our wildest dreams.
Was that me? I don't want to sound a bit rude, but is that maybe a little bit naive that you didn't expect it? Because I mean, from an outside looking in, who wouldn't want to buy a successful boxing promotional company?
Yeah, but it's not just. I mean, the boxing's still only 25%, 30% of the business. Okay. Darts is much bigger. Snooker. They're sports that we actually own effectively. Yeah. We run the infrastructure of the sport. Boxing's the Wild West. So there is a value because we've got a broadcast deal, we've got we've got the fighter contract. But it's not like you own the sport like the other sports. So, I think it's not necessarily a naivety. It's more of just a humbleness of who we are and where we come from. Yeah. Like, we are a family business that started under a snooker hall in Romford. That's the reality of who we are. And sometimes we do need to think bigger than we do. Yep. But that quality is what drives us to achieve what we achieve, because of the work ethic and the mindset that we have. We're not this massive corporate powerhouse who sit in skyscrapers and have private jets flying us everywhere. We're on the train, getting a tube, and we're out grafting. And my old man, you'll see him walking around the West End with his suit, with his briefcase, going into meetings. That's like, he's from Dagenham. Do know what I
Yeah,
mean? So,
yeah.
but that's the when you watch the Netflix doc, that's in a way the beauty of our company.
Yeah, Eddie, thank you so much
Cheers,
for your time.
mate. Enjoyed
Appreciate it.
Good
Thank you.
interview.